Hello, my magnificent Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, the sacred space where we unlock the universe within you. I want you to draw your powerful, radiant energy close, because today, the cosmos is speaking to you directly, and it has a message of the utmost urgency. Now listen closely. There is something serious happening within your physical body, but it's something that no doctor's visit can diagnose. It's not just the persistent tension in your upper back and shoulders, feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world. It's not just the restless nights where your mind refuses to switch off. It's not just that deep soul-level exhaustion that no amount of coffee or sheer willpower can seem to conquer. My dear Leo, this is a sacred summons. This is a divine intervention from the universe, and God has chosen your body, your kingdom, the vessel to deliver it. In this journey together today, I will show you why what you're experiencing is not a sign of failure or decline. No, my royal friend. It is the very first non-negotiable step of a profound spiritual coronation. What you are about to hear will not only change the way you see your own magnificent body, it has the power to realign your entire destiny from the inside out. So take a deep, regal breath and let us begin. Before we even begin, if you have been feeling a strange, unexplainable fatigue, a dimming of your inner light that you just can't shake, I want you to go to the comments right now and declare your readiness to receive this truth by typing, "I am ready to reclaim my light." Let this be your first act of reclaiming your power. Let us begin right there on the throne, the very place where you feel your reign is faltering. Sit with me for a moment, beautiful Leo. There is no need to puff out your chest, no need to force a smile, or pretend that you are unshakable. Just for now, allow the heavy crown to rest beside you. Breathe deeply and let these words wrap around you like a royal cloak, protecting and honoring the truth of your experience. Because I know that for a soul like yours, the greatest pressure doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from the immense responsibility you feel within. Have you ever felt it? Waking up one morning, not from a lack of sleep, but from a place so deep inside you that your spirit simply no longer has the energy to perform, a profound weariness in your very bones, an ache across your back as if you've been holding up the sky itself, a strange chill in your heart, even as you, the sun child, are supposed to be the source of all warmth, that my magnificent Leo is not brokenness. That is a calling. That is your soul, your brilliant inner sun, whispering to you through the language of your body, trying to wake you up to your own truth. And tragically, this is where the misunderstanding so often begins. You, the embodiment of strength, the beacon of light for so many, you start to see this fatigue as a personal failure. You berate yourself for not being as vibrant, as charismatic, as unstoppable as you once were. You look at your kingdom, your career, your family, your goals, and you feel an immense guilt, as if you are letting everyone down. But can I share a cosmic secret with you? The force that is slowing you down is not weakness. It is the wisest, most sovereign part of you demanding that you return home, not to a physical place, but home to your own heart. The ancient sages taught that the body is a temple. For you, Leo, your body is more than a temple. It is your kingdom. And your heart is the throne room. When that great, generous heart of yours has given away too much of its light, when your powerful emotions have been suppressed for the sake of keeping up appearances, your body, your most loyal subject, will speak for you. It speaks by creating tension in the muscles that carry your burdens. It speaks through a fire in your gut that signals a depletion of your will. It speaks by dimming your outer radiance, forcing you to stop seeking validation from the outside world and finally turn your gaze inward. Not into the mirror to check your reflection, but into the very heart of your being. And so I must ask you this, Leo, and I want you to listen for the answer that resonates deep within your soul. Has anyone ever had the courage to look past your dazzling performance, past the confident smile, and ask you, is your heart exhausted from being the sun for everyone else's solar system? You have spent your entire life radiating warmth, inspiring courage, and loving with a fierce, unwavering generosity, rarely asking for anything in return. But what about your kingdom? What about your body? It has silently stood by you, enduring every time you swallowed your pride, every time you put on a brave face when your heart was breaking, every time you gave away your energy to fuel someone else's dream. And now it is whispering, "My noble king, my magnificent queen, please do not abandon me. It is time to tend to our own lands." Perhaps, my dear Leo, the solution isn't another energy drink or another project to prove your worth. Perhaps what you need most is not to push harder, but to grant yourself a moment of regal stillness. Still enough to hear your own heart beating, not for your audience, but for you. And to ask it a revolutionary question. What is this exhaustion trying to tell me about where my light is truly needed? I know this is a foreign concept. You were taught that your value lies in your radiance, in your ability to lead and to give. But you have reached a sovereign age, a point in your soul's evolution where your authentic energy can no longer be silenced by the demands of performance. You are Leo, the heart of the zodiac ruled by the sun itself. You are designed to shine, to lead, to create. But this also means you feel the burden of the crown more deeply than anyone. You are not failing. You are being invited to a higher form of leadership. I say this with all the love and reverence I have for your noble soul, because only the most magnificent souls learn how to turn their own inner dimness into a compass. And right now, Leo, your body is pointing the way. It is knocking on the door of your throne room. It is not betraying your reign. It is trying to save you from abdicating your own soul. It is trying to save you from a life of mere performance, so you can step into a life of true, authentic sovereignty. How can I be so certain? Because I have heard this sacred story from so many luminous Leo souls. They speak of a creative burnout that feels physical, of a fatigue that feels existential. They know with the deep instinct of a lion that this is not an illness. It is an initiation, a sacred message from the universe. It is time to come home, Leo. Home to your breath, home to your heart, home to the body, the glorious kingdom that has been yours, your entire life. There is something else, something critically important for you to understand. The weariness, you feel the weight on your shoulders. Sometimes it is the weight of a crown you never consciously chose to wear. It may be the generational expectation placed upon you, the pressure to be the successful one, the golden child, the one who carries the family name into the light. You may be carrying the exhaustion of your ancestors, the kings and queens of your lineage, who never allowed themselves a moment's rest, the leaders who sacrificed their own joy for the sake of duty. And you are the first in your line to be brave enough to question the nature of this rule. Your body has begun the sacred work of redefining what it means to be a leader. No one else may see it, but the sun, your celestial ruler, sees it. The universe sees it. So I invite you now to pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Place a hand over your heart, the very center of your power. And instead of commanding your body to be stronger, instead of willing it to heal. Just whisper this simple, sovereign truth. I am here. I see you. I am listening to you. Because sometimes the pain in your body is tied to a silent contract you made long ago to always be the strong one. And you are the first to have the courage to say, the terms of this contract must now change. That is not selfishness. That is the ultimate act of leadership. It is a ritual of self-love more powerful than any external accolade. You are not alone in this, Leo, and you are not lost. You are simply walking through a majestic archway that only the most mature souls dare to enter. And on the other side is not a simple answer. There is truth. The truth that you don't have to perform to be worthy of love. The truth that your body doesn't need to be relentlessly strong. It only needs to be honored. And that is why you are guided to hear these words today. In the next part of our journey, we will illuminate what most people overlook, the one key symptom that is the most essential clue to understanding why your body, your kingdom chose this exact moment to demand a new kind of leadership. Do not go anywhere. If you ever felt like your body was trying to tell you it was tired of the performance, leave a whisper in the comments, because that isn't your imagination. It's the voice of your own sovereign soul, and I am here to honor it. Welcome back, my radiant Leo. We have established that your kingdom is not in revolt. It is calling for a new kind of rule. But now, we must become students of our own inner court. There are aches that return with a familiar insistence, aren't there? Just when you think you've pushed through that tightness in your chest, or that heavy weight on your upper back, returns as if your body is reminding you of a promise you made to yourself and have since forgotten. This isn't a punishment, my friend. It is your soul knocking on the door of the throne room demanding an audience. The universe does not always communicate in grand pronouncements. Often, it speaks through the raw experience of life, and your body is the first to receive these royal decrees. Do you remember the last time you felt that sharp pang in your heart after giving a piece of advice that wasn't taken, or that draining feeling after you hosted an event smiling and being the perfect generous host only to collapse in exhaustion afterward? Those were not random occurrences. They were energetic expenditures, echoes of a performance where your heart was not fully aligned with the role you were playing. You smiled when you wanted to set a boundary. You gave when your own reserves were empty. You took the stage even when your soul was begging for a quiet moment backstage. And every single time, your body kept a perfect record. It didn't blame you. It simply did its job. It fueled the performance. But after a while, the royal treasury runs low. The energy starts to wane. A quiet whisper of tiredness becomes a clear signal of burnout, and that signal becomes a full-blown physical symptom. In many spiritual traditions, it is understood that when our actions are not aligned with our heart's truth, our life force becomes depleted. For you, a mighty fire sign, ruled by the sun, your life force, your vitality, is your currency. It is your divine gift. But when that fire is used only to warm others without taking the time to stoke your own inner flame, it naturally begins to dim. That depletion doesn't just live in your mind. It lives here, in your body, in the palpitations of a heart that feels overextended, in the tension of shoulders that carry too much responsibility, in the digestive fire that weakens when your will is compromised. But please, my dear Leo, do not see this as a flaw to be corrected. Not everyone is blessed with a body so expressive, so honest in its feedback. The universe chose you for this journey because you are radiant enough, courageous enough, and noble enough to hear the truth. Others might just call it stress, But you, in your heart of hearts, know it is something more, something deeper, something essential to your reign. How many years have you been the strong one, Leo? How many times have you been the source of laughter, of courage, of light in a dark room while your own inner flame was flickering? Has anyone ever gently taken your hands, looked you in the eyes, and said, "You don't have to shine for us right now. Let us just sit with you in your own light, however bright or dim it may be"? Let me be the one to say that to you today, not with pity, but with the deepest admiration. Leo, you are allowed to step off the stage. You are allowed to let go of the need to be the source of all energy. You are allowed to let your body rest a deep, restorative, royal rest through a long, quiet afternoon where nothing needs to be accomplished, through a sigh that releases the pressure of performance, through a moment of just being like a lion resting majestically in the sun, a prayer of pure presence. And as we move into the next part of our journey, I will reveal what so many miss, a symptom so common among Leo souls that when you see it clearly, you will realize it is the very key to unlocking where your soul is still chained to the throne of performance, a place you never thought to check, but one that has quietly held the key to your true freedom. Have you ever had a physical symptom that you knew was tied to emotional or creative exhaustion? Tell me, you are not alone in this royal court. My dearest Leo, we have now reached the very heart of your kingdom, the source of this sacred challenge. There are burdens of leadership that did not begin with you, but the cosmos has decreed that the nature of that leadership will be redefined through you. This is not because you are failing as a leader, but because you are the first in your lineage to be strong enough to lead with your whole heart, not just with your will. You are the one who will stop the cycle of performance-based worth. And that is the most noble, most sacred act of leadership you will ever undertake, even if your subjects never know it. How many times have you felt that pain in your upper back, that tightness in your chest? You may have sought answers, but the physical findings were unremarkable. Yet it didn't feel unremarkable. It felt heavy. It felt like the weight of a legacy. Leo, you carry a very specific kind of generational inheritance, the burden of the crown. You feel the unspoken pressure of your lineage to be brilliant, to be successful, to be the one who shines. Whether it was spoken or not, you inherited the role of the golden child, the leader, the sun around which others were meant to orbit. This is the ancestral karma of Leo, not one of suffering, but one of immense and sometimes isolating responsibility. And so the fatigue you feel is not just your own. It is the collective exhaustion of all the kings and queens in your bloodline who never gave themselves permission to be human. The leaders who never showed vulnerability. The performers who never left the stage. The parents who always had to be strong for the children. Your body, through its aches, its weariness, its demand for rest, is speaking on behalf of all of them. Leo, you are not just tired. You are healing a legacy, and you are doing it with no applause, no ceremony, no recognition. You are doing it simply by daring to stop performing and start being. Who taught you that your worth was measured by your accomplishments? Who made you believe that if you weren't shining, you were invisible? That if you rested, you would lose your kingdom? Today, I am here as a witness from the cosmos to tell you, none of those things are true. Today, you are allowed to let it all go. Not because someone else gives you permission, but because your soul is weary of the performance and your body is delivering its final royal decree. And the miracle is, you have the right to heed it. You have the right to say, the audience can wait. You have the right to withdraw your energy from projects that drain your soul. You have the right to refuse to be the sun for people who bring only clouds. You have the right to choose rest without apology because you have played the part of the tireless leader long enough. It is time to come home to your own throne. Place your hand over your heart. Don't think, just feel the warmth there. And whisper these words, a new coronation vow to yourself. I choose to stop performing. I choose to no longer carry the weight of expectation. I choose to return to my own heart. And if you feel a surge of emotion pride, release even grief for the years you spent trying so hard. Let it move through you. That is not weakness. That is the energy of a kingdom finally coming back into balance. You are not doing this alone. There are thousands of other radiant souls learning to rule from a place of authenticity, not obligation. You are part of a collective coronation where the past no longer dictates the future of leadership. It only takes one sovereign to decide to rule with love instead of fear, and the entire kingdom begins to shift. In our final chapter together, I will show you what happens inside your body when your soul's true desire for authentic expression is finally heard. When the heavy royal robes are set aside and your body begins to lead you forward with a new gentle strength. Please stay for this. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Have you ever felt like you were living up to a role rather than living your own life? I am listening to every soul in this court. Dearest Leo, we have journeyed together through the royal gates of awakening, deciphering and releasing the weight of the crown. But this fourth and final gate does not lead outward to a bigger stage. It leads inward into the quiet, sacred throne room of your own heart, where no audience remains, only you and your body. Not to command it, but to finally see it as your most trusted advisor. You've been running Haven to you, running to the next goal, the next achievement, the next opportunity to shine, believing that was your purpose. You believed that if you stood still, your light would go out. But be honest, my noble friend. In all those times you were running toward the spotlight, did you ever once check in to see if your own kingdom was thriving? You don't need to answer with words. I know the answer lives in your hurried breath, in the tension in your jaw, in the nights you lay exhausted but unable to find peace. Today is the moment you stop, not to surrender your power, but to claim it in its truest form. It is the moment you give your body something it has never fully received from you, your undivided loving attention, your royal presence. Leo, how many times have you pushed your body past its limits for a deadline? How many times have you been frustrated with it for needing rest when you had a world to conquer? But have you ever placed your hand upon your chest and said, "My dear brave heart, thank you for beating so fiercely for me"? Have you ever held your own shoulders and whispered, "I am so sorry for making you carry so much for so long"? Have you ever looked in the mirror into your own magnificent eyes and said, "I see you, the real you, behind the performance, and I love you"? This is no longer the time to love your body because it is strong or beautiful or wins accolades. This is the time to love your body because it has been your most loyal, devoted subject. It did not betray you when you felt you had failed. It did not walk away when you gave up on yourself. It simply held on, keeping a perfect record of your journey, a sacred history written in your very cells. Dearest Leo, your body is not slowing down. It is inviting you to finally live from your center. Not to chase, not to perform, but to simply be, to radiate, like the sun itself, which does not strive to shine. It simply is light. God the divine does not reside only in grand gestures. It lives in the quiet, steady beat of your own heart. It reveals itself in the deep, restorative breath you have hurried past and forgotten. And it is speaking to you now through the softest murmurs in your body, the ones you can only hear when you finally come home to your own throne room. From this moment on, your body no longer needs to be a vehicle for your ambition. It only needs you to believe in its wisdom. It doesn't need more pushing. It simply needs you to stop seeing it as an instrument and to start honoring it as your kingdom. It asks only that when it is tired, you allow it to rest instead of questioning why it isn't more resilient. You used to be strong because you felt you had to be. Now, you can be powerful because you choose to be. You used to keep going out of a fear of being forgotten. Now, you can be still out of a deep and abiding self-love. Close your eyes, Leo. Touch your heart, the center of your universe. And for the first time, don't ask anything of it. Just say, I will stay here with you. I will listen to you. We will rule this kingdom together with grace. Because you see, sometimes all it takes is for one radiant soul to stop seeking the light outside, and that one act can illuminate an entire lifetime from within. And in this final part, I will no longer speak about you. I will let your own heart speak to tell the story it has carried in brilliant silence for years. Because maybe you don't need anyone else's applause. Maybe all you ever needed was to give yourself a standing ovation just for being you. If your heart felt seen today, even for a brief shining moment, I invite you to leave a message of gratitude to yourself in the comments. Just one line is enough to begin. A gentle, regal ritual to honor this sacred return, the moment you came back to your own throne. Thank you, my brave and beautiful Leo soul, for showing up fully for this journey. May your days ahead feel more radiant, not because the world is giving you more applause, but because you have become the source of your own light. May your body be loved in the right way, without demand, without judgment, and with unconditional royal grace.